even the children as well. But essentially, I think they had a way of making children come out at that time because of the impact it had on children, because they were mainly or the major target at that time. So like I said, it was storytelling that has not been affected by civilization, modernization, and then what they call technological invasion. So it was a time where things were handed over by word of mouth from generation to generation.
The written accounts of African mythology began to appear in the early 1800s, and present-day literary writers labor to record the continent's myth and legend to ensure their safety from cultural change. There are clear interactions between the deeply rooted oral tradition and the developing literary tradition of the 20th century. The interaction is revealed in the placing of literary works into the forms of the oral tradition. The impact of the epic on novels, poems, and drama continues to influence writers today.
Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Lami Ali. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. We begin from New York. President Muhammadu Buhari says increased collaboration with Nigeria is essential towards mitigating the current and potential future supply chain challenges as the country is ready to fill greater amounts of global demand. Addressing participants the second Nigeria International Economic Partnership Forum in New York, the president assured foreign investors of an enabling business environment that is open and friendly. State House correspondent Adam Sombu has the story.
The Nigeria International Economic Partnership Forum is put together to, amongst others, share practical experiences on business and economy, as well as garner support for Nigeria's high-impact developmental ambitions. These include driving strategic and financial investment into Nigeria's real sector and, most importantly, positioning the country as a major international supply chain partner to leading global economies like the United States.
Nigeria and the United States have been global allies for many decades.
Apart from being Nigeria's main trading partner, the United States, President Buhari said, is also one of the country's most important diplomatic partners.
In 2020, Nigeria exported over $1.69 billion United States dollars worth of goods to the United States. These exports were primarily made up of crude oil and other petroleum products. Nigeria's capability is not just limited to oil and gas industry, but a variety of other sectors.
For effective service delivery and fulfillment of public aspirations. From New York, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And vast potentials and opportunities that abound in Nigeria continue to top deliberations at the second Nigeria International Economic Partnership Forum in New York. Benny Adams reports that the forum attracted investors from across the globe.
Nigeria's economy and population are the largest in Africa, with more than $400 billion in GDP and a growing population of more than 200 million people. He is an asset, says the man wearing the president's shoe at the opening session of this event.
We recorded a quarterly GDP growth in Q1 2022. The growth has been mostly driven by non-oil sector, giving credence to the revenue source and diversification agenda of our government.
True to these words, investments are thriving in Nigeria, and with interactions ongoing at this forum, there is the hope that more miles in the investment journey will be covered.
The Ministry of Petroleum, we are also setting up a one-stop shop to be able to make investment easy for people who are coming. The investment the government has made in this direction what has poured the interest in the Ghana export as the result of what we're seeing today. Our results still look good. We can support almost 9 to 10 months of imports.
With encomiums from the global community comes commitment for partnership.
There is an American commitment to Nigeria, and CCA will continue to play our part.
While information on opportunities are being relayed at various plenary sessions, it is expected that more deals will be signed for betterment of Nigeria's economy. From New York, I am Benny Adams, NTA News.
Now, the Africa First Lady's Peace Mission, under the leadership of the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, is re-strategizing towards addressing conflicts and promoting peace and security within the continent. This formed part of the issues discussed during the high-level engagements of the AFLPM as the margins of the 77th United Nations General Assembly currently taking place in New York. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir has the story.
Given the need for promotion and protection of women and children as victims of armed conflict, Africa First Lady's Peace Mission is taking another step of bringing together critical stakeholders in New York to brainstorm on issues towards consolidating on the achievements of the mission under the watch of the current president and the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari. Issues of sexual and gender-based violence, conflict within the continent, female genital mutilation and early marriage, as well as women and girl child education and many more, were some of the numerous challenges responsible for the underdevelopment of women in Africa, which the gathering seek to address. The president of the mission, Aisha Buhari, in her virtual presentation, acknowledged the effort of all stakeholders in this project. She also emphasized in clear terms the role young women and girls can play towards promoting peace and security within the continent, which formed the theme of the high-level event this year. The president said since inception they have been working round the clock to ensure greater achievements, particularly the construction work at the permanent site of the mission currently going on in Abuja, and the integration of secondary school curriculum to accommodate peace and conflict studies.
One of the issues she raised was the need to promote the education, peace and security education in the curriculum of African basic schools, and it was well received by Africa leaders. Here we are in New York. She has been able to bring to the center stage the issue of women, peace and security, which has also been well received on the platform of the African First Ladies Peace Mission.
I think the fact that the First Ladies, as wives, seeing themselves as mothers and nurturers.
Now, President of the United Nations General Assembly, Chaba Kurusi, says the world should come up with policies to address the severe water shortage crisis, which could affect billions of the global population. Chaba Kurusi made the plea after a sideline meeting at the ongoing 77th session of the Assembly. Adebola Brooksland reports.
Statistics show that half of the world's population are living in areas facing water scarcity by as early as 2025, while some 700 million people could be displaced by intense water scarcity by 2030. Chaba Kurusi said by 2040, roughly 1 in 4 children worldwide will be living in areas of extremely high water stress.
Significant, very significant water shortage can be expected, and these areas will be provided more than 40% of the grain we have to produce.
The Onga president also stressed the need for mankind to jointly meet the various challenges and crises which lie ahead.
My suggestion to the member states who accepted it was, let's dedicate this year to solutions through solidarity, sustainability and science.
Chaba Kurusi said on a short term, the international community must make adjustments in its management policies of water resources. Adebola Brooksland, NTA News.
And from New York, we move to Nigeria's National Assembly, where the Senate Committee on the Federal Capital Territory is proposing the payments of property tax on buildings that have been completed but not occupied in the Federal Capital Territory. Chairman of the committee, Senator Smart Adeyemi, at an inaugural meeting of members of the committee, made it clear that uninhabited houses and estates are listed in and around the Federal Capital Territory without generating revenue for the FCT.
We are going to work towards property tax to take for the rich to be able to save the poor. So if we have 2 houses and nobody is occupied there, we'll find out why these houses are not occupied, and we'll call the attention of government to lock them up so that criminals do not take charge. So that it doesn't become a thing for kidnappers. So these properties that are completed, that are not occupied, what we're going to do is to put in place measures that compel them to start paying taxes, council tax, so that we can use the money to develop the city.
Senator Smart Adeyemi was appointed new chairman of the Committee on FCT on the 20th of September 2022, following a minor committee reshufflement. Now, the Joint Senate and House Committees on Customs, Excise and Tariffs has invited the Managing Director of Web Fontaine Limited to appear before it for a roadmap to improve the nation's economy. National Assembly correspondent Mobolaji Moribirin completes the story.
It is yet another round of engagement with stakeholders on ways to explore increasing Nigerians' revenue generation. This was at a joint committee of the Senate and House of Representatives on Customs, Excise and Tariffs. Heads of critical stakeholders in government and the private sector who were expected to profile solutions on how to boost internally generated revenue were not in attendance.
What something has to do with Nigeria and revenue, which is the major thing affecting the nation at the moment. The letter was addressed to Web Fontaine Limited, and then the Web Fontaine Limited is not here.
We are not here for a joke, and the association of all these guardians, we don't want to have any representation. We want to see your president.
For this reason, the meeting was shifted to another date. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribirin, NTA News.
Now, the House of Representatives Committee on Works has asked the contractor handling the expansion of the Abuja-Kefi Expressway and realization of Kefi-Lafia-Makudi Road projects to ensure the job is delivered according to specifications. The committee gave the advice during an oversight of the projects. National Assembly correspondent Dayo Gushola reports.
Briefing from Road Sector Development Team on the scope and level of work done kickstarted the oversight at Nyanya. Driving her to Abuja to the interland, the committee observed with keen interest progress made on the job. Though there are challenges and areas of concerns, the contractor put the level of job done at 72%.
To achieve this project before next year and proposed.
I believe that we should be able to complete it by the time we come to the end of the project duration.
At the Lavia Makudi section of the road, the lawmakers gave their verdict.
Last year we have provided a lot of funding for these projects, and the budget is coming, as you know, by the next few weeks. So before we can drop any money, we'll make sure all our concern, will be addressed.
Awarded to China Harbour Engineering Company in 2017, and the expectation is that it will be delivered on or before April next year in Abuja. Dayo Gunshola, NTA News.
Now, the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, is liaising with the National Assembly as it seeks amendments to the NIPS Act and improved funding to the institution. At an engagement with leadership of the House of Representatives, both the House Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, and the Director General of the Institute, Professor Ayo Motayo, were in agreement on the need for governments to redirect attention to NIPS being a critical organization of research for nation building.
We are doing all our best to execute the mandate for which we are set up, but we need your help. Our act was passed in 1979, and of course that is about 44 years ago. A lot of changes have occurred in the polity, and of course when there are changes in the polity, we try to also stick with the laws that we operate with.
There's no doubt that this research is key to development in every sector. Therefore, your role is very pivotal in development, in societal, national development.
The Speaker advised quick submission of the draft proposal for the amendments, which he pledged would be fast-tracked for early passage. And Adeola is in Lagos with more reports on the news. Hello, Adeola.
Hello, Lami. A three-story building has collapsed in Mushin, a densely populated area in Lagos. According to an eyewitness, there was no sign of imminent collapse on the building. Some residents, including the chairman of Mushin local government area, Olayewaju Bangbuye, said there are indications that the building may have been marked for demolition before it collapsed. The Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, and other emergency responders are on ground to rescue two persons believed to be under the rubble. As at the time of filing this report, no casualty has been recorded. More details in our subsequent news. Media practitioners in Nigeria have been urged to collaborate with the military in addressing insecurity confronting the country by toning down their reportage concerning insecurity. This was a fallout at a lecture on the topic Contemporary Security Environment and National Development Efforts of the Armed Forces in Nigeria. Hingina John Adams completes the report.
The critical role of the media in information dissemination in the development of a nation cannot be overemphasized. This is because the media is the watchdog of society. To this end, the military regards the media as partner in progress in her efforts in tackling the challenge of insecurity confronting the nation. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, agreed that the media has been a worthy partner in tackling insecurity through its reportage. However, in recent time, the reverse is the case.
I am advocating that there must be a shift to give more prominence to government security agencies, of course not necessarily covering some of the ill acts that they may have conducted, but giving prominence to criminal and terrorist activities, in my view, does not speak to our collective good and prosperity.
While acknowledging the tremendous efforts of the media, speakers encouraged media practitioners to see the issue of security as a collective responsibility of everybody.
The role of the media
to make sure that they do their work responsibly by giving fair and accurate reports of what is going on.
The media should, resist any temptation of any kind to sensationalize, the kinds of things that border on security in the country. The military, do they in any way take the media into confidence? Do they have one-on-one briefings with them? Do they introspect with them? So to that extent, if they do not do that, and then they decide to turn around and blame the military.
The lecture, organized by the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, is one of several lectures to address concerns of insecurity confronting the nation. In Lagos, Hengino John Adams, NTA News.
NTA remains the cradle of broadcasting in Nigeria, and for the participants in the three-day training organized by the Nigerian Television Authority Lagos Network Center on camera operations, they have acquired additional knowledge to improve their expertise and stand out in their trade. Amaka Owo reports that the training had veterans from the broadcast industry handle various sessions.
An investment in knowledge, they say, pays the best interests. And for these participants, drawn from various organizations, meaningful insights gained on creative use of the cameras during the training makes the difference.
A lot of these things that I didn't know before now, on how to operate your camera, how to pick your spots very, very good. I've learned.
I got to get another definition of being creative in another way.
They taught a lot of things that can help us. What is shutter speed and all those things help us. Then our aperture, how we can apply it to give us the quality picture that we need. After the training, I realized I'm not handling most of my shots correctly.
The training had former staff of the organization with wealth of experience share the rudiments in camera operations.
Pictures are meaningful. They ought to be meaningful. They are like symbols. So if you use them effectively, your message will be conveyed to your audience in a very succinct manner. Fourthly, you must know the drone you want to fly. You have the gimbal that is carrying the camera. So if you know all these things, you know the rules and regulations, you won't have any problem to fly.
For the leadership of the Nigerian Television Authority Lagos Zonal Network Center, NTA has a rich history and has what it takes to groom interested persons in broadcasting operations.
The people who are, we call quote and unquote independent content providers, practically everybody passed through here.
Certificates were presented to various participants who look forward to subsequent capacity building opportunities from the organization. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Nationwide will continue with Gabriel in Port Harcourt when we return from this break. To stay with us.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.
Weekend File, your Saturday delight, going to places from the obscure to the hinterland and cities, bringing you development stories and perspectives, connecting the people with government and stakeholders on critical issues of our national life.
We are live in Abuja.
It's 9 p.m. every Saturday on the network service of the NTA. Weekend File. You can't afford to miss it.
Oh boy, this one where I read. You carry machete, you still carry gun. What you want to can do, sir? After the para like this, I don't vex. Oh boy, calm down now. Like this, see like this, I dey go scatter those businesses. You know, so they get to our people businesses, You don't see them. See, and they go there, they go like, and they go shoot them better crazy. They never see anything. If you destroy their own for here, and they destroy your people for that side, especially that your brother where they send you money, that way don't block. How you go take survive? See, this way talk not true. But I still the vex. Calm down. Make we embrace peace. Peace and unity. Everybody.
My people. Make we gum body with peace and unity. Make we learn to live as brothers and sisters, so that we country will feel move go permanent sides. This message not from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Port Network Center. River State Governor Nyesom Wike says the enthronement of justice, equity and fairness is paramount for the inclusiveness of all for People's Democratic Party, PDP, to move forward. The governor stated this at the media parley with journalists in Port Harcourt. Ogedinyekwe has the reports.
Governor Wike says the chairman of the People's Democratic Party is confronted with is not about presidential or vice presidential candidacy, but the constitutional issue of equity sharing key positions in the party. The governor insists on equity because the key decision-making positions of the party are in one zone of the country.
First of all, nobody forced to say that if the president candidate emerges from the north, I will resign. Nobody forced you. But you knew that had been the tactics. He knew that had been the tactics. Why would you have come out to a whole country, to a whole party, if this happens? I'm going to do that. And now I say, okay, why not do this thing with human being? And you don't get that back individually.
He stressed that the issue on ground in the PDP is not only about constitutional matters but of political expediency and need for everyone to be willing to sacrifice for peace to reign. This, he explained, is why the national chairman of the party should honor his word to relinquish power. Governor Wike noted that the PDP should not take Nigerians for granted, but as an opposition must show that it can unite Nigerians by uniting the party. On the possibility of his PDP due to the perceived injustice, Governor Wike says he will remain in the party to ensure that justice, equity and fairness are entrenched, only with a regret that he wasn't given opportunity to address the challenges in Nigeria. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwe, NTA News.
The Bayelsa State government has promised to reposition the healthcare system across the state to enable it to perform effectively. This was a fallout of a one-day workshop on the situation of primary healthcare services across the state for the adoption of a 14-point communique for improved service delivery. Fred Owefe has more to tell us.
The one-day workshop on the state of primary healthcare services in Bayelsa State became necessary for critical stakeholders to brainstorm and chart a way forward in improving primary healthcare services in the state and also focus on vaccination of children in rural areas to prevent them from killer diseases. Governor Doye Diri, represented by his deputy Senator Lawrence Erujakpo, who also doubled as the chairman of the task force on immunization, found at the inadequacies of the supervisory role of the healthcare board, which he said is responsible for the challenges in the primary healthcare system, especially in rural areas where 70% of the population of the state dwell. Senator Erujakpo called for change of attitude by health workers and assured them of constant monitoring of the process as he promised frequent motivation for optimal performance.
On the issue of supervision, we have put that on the laps of the Local Government Service Commission and the Primary Healthcare Board. On the issue of funding, we have put that one on the state government. On the issue of attitude to work, we have put that one on the laps of the health workers and the rest of them.
Stakeholders in the sector identified shortage of health workers, dilapidated health facilities, absence of accommodation for personnel, and lack of political will, among others, as some of the challenges affecting the smooth operation of the sector. Fred Uwifie, NTA News.
And that will be all from here. It is now back to Lami in Abuja.
Thank you, Gabriel. Now, the governor of Sokoto State and chairman PDP Governors Forum, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, has disclosed that the governors on the platform of the party are holding discussions with a view to coming up with a solution soon to the crisis rocking the party. This was after playing host to the party's board of trustees in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
This engagement between the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, the PDP Board of Trustees led by their acting chairman, Senator Adolphus Wabara, is to come up with solutions to the problems facing the party. As the conscience of the party, the Board of Trustees says it believes that the steps taken are part of their functions in the party constitutionally.
The solution for us, all of us, to come together, to come on board and then win the election.
We are all interested in working together, solve our internal problems, and then forge ahead and prosecute the electoral battle.
The meeting assures that Nigerians will see a more united PDP before the start of electioneering campaigns. The BOT members are to meet the national chairman of the party, Yocha Ayu, the party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, and also his running mate, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, on the way forward. Although the BOT members have met with some governors of the party, they have not been able to meet the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike. Meanwhile, PDP North Central Zonal executives have been inaugurated in Abuja with the charge to work towards deepening the ideals of the party. The 32-member executive committee cut across the 6 states of the North Central and the FCT. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And INEC has released the final list of candidates for the presidential and National Assembly elections, and campaigns will commence on Wednesday, 28th of September 2022. However, the trouble in the major opposition party, the PDP, is yet to be resolved. On Good Morning Nigeria, analysts, while speaking on the internal wranglings within the PDP, suggested an all-inclusive approach in solving the conflict within the PDP. Daniel Adeweye tells us more.
Should leave. No, but the Damagun also permission that he will allow me.
They say those who live in glass houses don't throw stones. But the PDP currently is a house taking many hits, not from outside, but from within. But some party members believe the party structure must remain a product of the party's constitution and not an individual.
The collateral damage, in a sense, is the dishonor and the injustice and the parading of you through the states of this country as chairman of a party in dishonor that cannot keep his word to come and tell Nigeria, I'm coming to have a relationship of fidelity with you. We are going to do this. What contract can you have with Nigerians with a leadership that is dishonorable?
The movement of the position of the chairman from the north to the south is the problem, not how you stepping down. By virtue of the provisions of the constitution of the party, the national chairman comes from the same region from where the deputy national chairman who takes over comes from. And by law, The moment the national chairman steps down by virtue of section 45 of the PDP constitution, once the national chairman is removed by the party or he steps down, the next in line by virtue of section 45 of the constitution is the deputy national chairman.
Other guests noted that, while internal conflicts remain inevitable, party members and leaders alike must now more than ever sheath their swords and collectively channel time and energy to pushing and propagating the party's agenda ahead of the 2023 general elections.
But the bottom line is that we can respect the time like that. Let's have the election in peace. Let's join hands to win this battle.
They called on the party's leadership and chieftain to, as a matter of urgency, bring to mutual understanding all aggrieved party members. In Abuja, Daniel Adiriye, NTA News.
The British government has expressed interest to remain neutral in Nigeria's 2023 general elections, describing the country's democracy as the biggest in Africa. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria stated this while responding to newsmen during her visit to the Kebbi State Governor. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports.
The British High Commissioner to Nigeria stated that Nigeria is held in high regards by the British government from time immemorial, stressing the concept of network of liberty by the new British Prime Minister to bring countries together that share common values around democracy, good governance and the rule of law.
And I'm certainly encouraging my government to see Nigeria as a crucial part of that network of liberty. And obviously the case for that will be much, much stronger if these elections go well from the point of view of security and people being able to vote peacefully, and for whoever comes out to the elections and we don't have a vote, we are not backing any particular candidate. What we are backing is a good election.
Earlier, receiving the British High Commissioner, Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu condoled the British government over the passage of Queen Elizabeth II recently. He expressed optimism that Kebbi State has enough trade and investment opportunities to partner with the UK companies.
In terms of economic diversity, cultural diversity and management, I believe we have a lot to share with other parts of the country and indeed other countries.
Among other activities scheduled for the visit include meetings with opposition political parties, civil society organizations and traditional leaders. In Benue, Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Now, the quick fix scheme of the National Directorate of Employment is yielding results as trainees attached to outlets to learn how to convert waste to wealth are making headway by transforming nylon and fashion wastes into household items within their environments. The Director General of the NDE, Abubakar Fikpo, says waste is gradually becoming a gold mine for some people in Abuja. Emmanuel Ayimiru tells us more.
When you throw away your empty bottle water, can, nylon, fashion waste or any other item, do you know they constitute environmental hazards, sometimes blocking drainages? Well, those items are sometimes picked up and recycled into other products, like is being done at a site in Idu Industrial Layout and Apo in Abuja. These activities at the two sites gave an impression of wealth that is being generated daily for what is despised by many, but which the initiators and the National Directorate of Employment trainees are making ends meet.
On the NDA, I think we worked with about 10 of the women. We had to recycle waste like this nylon bags, the ones we call leather. Right, we are weaving them into fabric, and then eventually the fabric we make them into like purses, bags, and mats.
There's sensitization about how to go and make wealth from your waste. So that was what enticed me. Then the ND program supported us to come and want to continue with the program, want to continue with weaving.
So currently, I don't see plastic bags as waste anymore. So I see opportunity in them. I really appreciate the ND according to what they have done. Before, we almost reached almost 50. We upcycle fashion waste into functional household items for sale, like throw pillows, bags, shoes, upholstery for indoor furnitures.
What value do scavengers serve in terms of waste collection?
The Ebolas, our doors are open to, they bring it with those carts, you see. But if you ask all of them to leave
your streets, this street cannot take all of us. Reason is that the streets will be so dirty, nobody to pick it up and clean it up. You understand? Drainages will be blocked, marine life will be affected.
We are revisiting our vocational and technical programs in order that
women in their large numbers are also benefiting. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Time to join Makurdi Network Center for reports trending from that zone. And we have Susan standing by. It's over to you, Susan.
Makurdi. The Benue State government has signed into law the Peace Building and Reconciliation Commission Bill. Governor Samuel Otom signed the document under the watch of the United Nations Residence and Humanitarian Coordinator, Matthias Shimale, alongside other delegates of sister agencies. Charles Abba reports that the bill was presented to the governor for accent by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly, Christopher Adaji.
The Peace Building and Reconciliation Commission Bill was passed by the Benue State House of Assembly recently and now presented to Governor Samuel Otom for his assent. The signing of the bill coincides with the 2022 International Peace Day, where the UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator, Matthias Shimale, and delegation of some sister agencies witnessed.
Areas of special focus include good governance, security of lives and property, promotion of agricultural development, strict adherence to the respect for the rule of law, collaborations and partnerships for meaningful development.
Governor Otom explained that the signing of the Peace Building and Reconciliation Commission Bill would mitigate the insecurity and other crises in the state. The UN Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator, Matthias Shimale, who expressed satisfaction over the domestication of the Peace Building and Reconciliation Commission Act in the state, assured that the UN and other international bodies will do all in their capacity to support in promoting peace and development in Benue State and Nigeria.
We are calling as the UN for transformative development change in Nigeria. And this has to include ending discrimination, intolerance, and hate speech based on one's ethnicity, religion, or gender.
He maintained that it takes a peaceful society to progress in all ramifications. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
As a deliberate step towards ensuring violence-free general elections in 2023, the Nigerian Television Authority Makurdi has concluded interface with the Inter-Party Advisory Council Benue State. NIRC reports that the meeting was also attended by representatives of political parties as well as some candidates vying for elective posts.
The coming of every electionary year is usually characterized by several violations of laid down regulations and guidelines for peaceful conduct of elections, hence the need to properly enlighten relevant actors and stakeholders. The interactive session between the management of the NTA Makurdi and the Inter-Party Advisory Council and other critical political actors harped on avoiding intemperate utterances during campaigns, promoting integrity and national cohesion, providing a level playing ground for all political parties, and adherence to the provisions of the Electoral Act and other extant laws guiding elections.
Tell us about your party and what your party has for the people of Benue State, and how you want to do it is up to you. But we will not allow you to be intemperate on NTA. We must promote national integrity. We must promote our unity in diversity.
Some stakeholders at the session described the meeting as fruitful and an avenue that enhanced their knowledge on some of the issues raised.
One of the lacking element in our political space is education of the electorate, and this is a very glaring opportunity for each and every candidate to be on a level playing ground to sell out their ideas and what they have to do for the Benue people.
The emphasis is on maintaining good language, maintaining friendliness, focusing on your party and what your party can deliver.
The interactive session is coming few days before the commencement of political campaigns, as stipulated by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. In Makudi, Elias, ETF, NTA News.
And that does it from Makudi. Comfort is standing by in Enugu for more news after this break.
Everywhere you go, from banks to hospitals to public offices, mass transit stations, airports, and even telecommunication centers, senior citizens are treated as nuisances. They are not. They are senior members of our society, and they deserve the utmost respect. We shouldn't be having our aged fathers and mothers standing in long queues to withdraw their monies at banks. Our retired senior citizens shouldn't be caught standing in buses for lack of seats or chasing after one just to get to their destination. Senior citizens shouldn't have to sit long hours in hospital corridors with no geriatric specialist to attend to them. Our senior citizens deserve better treatment from all of us. They deserve to be listened to. They are deserving of seat reservations on public buses and priority attendance in public spaces. As young people, we are quick to say, no one owes you. This is not true. We owe the elderly members of our society a helping hand, our services, and respect. Age-friendly societies have more senior citizens enjoying good health, living safely, and engaging in meaningful community work than those who do not.
Define age-friendly services for senior citizens.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Hope itself is life. Once you lose hope, you lose life. Once people get lifted to a certain level, they start feeling godlike. What would you attribute this backwardness in education to if they're not to date? Things are like, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And the program is reflection.
Afternoon and welcome to Enugu Network Center. The 2022-2023 legal year of the Enugu State Judiciary has begun, and key players in the sector want the best practices to achieve a forward movement of the judiciary. TNMOE also reports that the opening of a new legal year is a time of holistic assessment of activities of the judiciary to identify achievements and challenges.
These judicial officers and legal luminaries of the Enugu State Judiciary are mindful of the sovereignty of God, and they believe they need His unction to function in the 2022-2023 legal year. It is for this reason that they gathered at the Christ the King Parish, GRA Enugu, for a holy mass of thanksgiving. Mass over, other activities lined up for the opening of the legal year continued at the Justice Umes Liquor Auditorium and High Court Complex. It was all joys for the Chief Judge of Enugu State, Justice Afojuru Raymond Ozemena, who inspected the Guard of Honor, as this is his first since he was sworn in as a substantive Chief Judge of Enugu State.
One is regarded as ransom of the common man. And the question is, what exactly does the common man expect from the judiciary? The judiciary does not provide food, shelter, or clothing. These are the three basic needs of man. Yet the common man does not resort to the judiciary for them.
I want to see a better judiciary. Yes, good judiciary.
All the remarks at the session pointed to the fact that the judiciary remains an indispensable institution and the entrenchment and enthronement of the rule of law and democratic principles for the development of any nation. As the 2023 general elections approaches, judicial officers were also asked not to allow court cases, litigations, and counter-injunctions that accentuate electoral processes to overheat the polity. In Enugu, Chinenye Nwoye, NTA News.
Possible ways of addressing the current security challenges in the country took the center stage at a sensitization workshop organized by the Police Public Complaints Committee for officers and men of the Nigerian Police Force. James Oprekocha reports.
Department in the Ministry of Police Affairs, who represented the minister, said Enugu Zone was the last batch in the nationwide sensitization of the public on their rise to decent policing. The minister said the essence of the PPC was to change the style of policing through improved welfare, police reforms, modernization of strategic policing infrastructure to meet current security challenges in the country. Permanent Secretary, Minister of Police Affairs, urged the people of the Southeast Zone that it's not going to be business as usual again, as officers and men will be held accountable for their misdeeds.
The campaign is the program of government to fully implement community policing and other reform agenda. A young boy who intended to find a and then he transferred to Uganda because the government said something of home and
President Muhammad Buhari has encouraged community policing through collaboration with community stakeholders in Enugu. James Oparekocha, NTA News.
And as a contribution from Enugu is back to Lami in Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Comforts. Now, the Nigeria Police Force has arraigned Professor Zainab Duke Abiola before the Magistrate Court in Wuse for allegedly assaulting a police officer, Inspector Teju Moses. Professor Zainab Duke Abiola and her maid were arraigned on 7 counts charge. First Police Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi confirmed this in an interview with Francis Froome.
And accomplices, criminal conspiracy, attempt to commit culpable homicide, voluntary causing grievous hurt without provocation, criminal intimidation, and intentional insult with intent to cause breach of peace. Punishable under sections 97, section 2, 229, 247, 397, and 399 of Penal Code laws of Northern Nigeria.
The detained activist is said to have assaulted Inspector Moses for refusing to carry out a menial job. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Ali Baba, who has condemned the assault on the female police officer, has tasked the investigative team to ensure that one of the defendants now at large is arrested and later face the full wrath of the law. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy has announced the appointments of Bulus Samuela Yakubu as Acting Postmaster General of the Federation and Chief Executive Officer, NIPOS, following the suspension of Dr. Ismail Adedayo Adeusi. A statement by the Director Corporate Affairs NIPOS notes that Bulus Samuela Yakubu, who is from Taraba State, joined NIPOS service in 1990. Until his appointment, he was the Secretary to NIPOS Governing Board, Director Special Duties, and NIPOS Liaison Officer to the National Assembly. Time now for sports updates.
The Professional Footballers Association of Nigeria (PFAN) task force is appealing to all stakeholders to abide by the September 15 court order so as to avoid jeopardizing the proposed NFF elective congress.
Amendment of statute, expulsion of members, admission, all that. So we are saying that thing must stop. Doing wrong thing for a very long time does not make it right.
The National League One Super 8 Championship is set to hold in Lagos October 3 to 8 as 8 teams go into a round robin to determine winners of the 2022 season.
The 8 clubs are actually the best we can produce from the National League One.
In cycling, 6 cyclists have resumed camping in Abuja ahead of the World Cycling Championship scheduled to hold in France from the 12th to 16th of next month. The cyclists, comprising of 6 females, will represent Nigeria in 6 events of team pursuit, team sprint elimination, time trial, carrying, and sprint.
We are here for the past 2 weeks, and the athletes are responding to their training, and they are doing well.
In the meantime, Cross River State has organized a talent hunt program in various sporting disciplines across the 3 senatorial districts of the state in a bid to catch them young and enhance the sporting fortunes of the state.
As far as you are just come, we look at you, we put you through our standard equipment, and we know who we can pick to clean up and get them better.
In local governments, in those local areas, we'll be able to fetch our talents that will be good to the good of Cross River State and generally in Nigeria.
I want my dream to come true so that the whole nation will know me, then I will represent Nigeria in anywhere I go.
The talent hunt was concluded with the Southern Senatorial District held at UJ Usene Stadium, Calabar. With sports update, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
And that's nationwide for today. Remember to join NTA's campaign against rape and rapists. I am Lami Ali. Join us at 7 and 9 for more reports. Have a good weekend.